welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. We appreciate you guys for being here. You know, things are circling, wasn't going live. I was wondering what's happening. So, welcome. If you're on the replay watching us, be sure to share
And like,
and subscribe. You know, and we always the like button, like looks like that. Make sure you hit that depending on where you're at, Facebook, YouTube, and stay connected to us. We appreciate you guys for being here. Again, welcome to Purpose for Forever. We're on every Monday at
8 p.m.
8. So make sure you are watching. We're talking about our journey as far as marriage, the things that we're learning, the things that we're discovering between each other and those that we're around, because we are learning a lot. A lot. All right. So without further ado, oh, why am I struggling with that when I can do that? Bam.
Go figure.
We'll be right back. Right after this. Hey, we're back.
Yes, we are. I don't like it because I can't hear it on my end. If I can't hear the music, I don't know
You don't know what's going
what's happening. No.
on? Oh,
But hi, guys. Welcome to this week's episode.
yes.
Of course, we are the Walkers. I am Samantha, and he's the other one. No, I'm just joking, guys. Welcome to our broadcast. Tonight we are going to start off with one topic, but I'm sure it's going to kind of branch into some other things. Like he said, this is kind of us sharing our journey and the things that we're learning, and then kind of dispelling some of the things that we came into this believing, and over time have realized that, it just wasn't too accurate or too effective for a long-term journey. Journey. So, tonight we wanted to talk about being married and what are you laughing at? And having different purposes,
Yes.
or feeling like what you're called to do, or what you want to do, or the things that are exciting for you is totally different than from what your spouse would like to do. And it could be almost anything. It could be spouse wants to be a cook and open a restaurant, and you hate it. You hate the idea of a restaurant. You hate, whatever it is, and just kind of figuring out how to navigate that, so that you both feel fulfilled in the relationship, as well as outside of the relationship.
Right.
So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'll say, for me, for a long while, I felt dragged into his stuff. Like, I felt like, I had to go along with the things he liked just for the sake of the relationship. I didn't understand, and this is like a personal thing. I didn't really understand that it was okay for me to want and desire different things, which in turn made me feel like I was trapped. Like, I felt like I was trapped somewhere in between trying to be a good spouse and wanting to have my own identity, or my own stuff, or my own air. Oh, yes. So, over time, I've learned a better way to operate. So, of course, as his wife, his spouse, um, I'm always the cheerleader. I'm always supportive of the things that he wants to do that are beneficial.
Right.
Now, I'll say for me, listen, everybody's different. You may have your own way to handle it. I'm a make it make sense type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are times that I'm like, yeah, I don't see it.
Right.
And it's a no for me.
Right.
And then there's times, where I'm like, I don't see it, but I trust you on it.
Right.
It kind of goes back and forth. But like I said, I'm his wife, so I'm going to support him. I'm going to cheer him on, for the most part. But I've also realized that I don't have to um, always show up,
Okay.
and I mean that in the sense of I'm in his corner. I got his back, but I don't always have to show up as in I have to be included in everything.
Okay.
Like I have to have my hand in everything. Like I don't feel that. I don't think that's necessary. There are some things that are just him. If he asks for my help, I'm willing.
Right.
If I'm available, if he needs my help, I'm always willing to jump in. But I've learned that it's okay for me not to like something.
Yes.
It's okay for me not to want to do everything that he does.
Right.
Like it's okay.
Yeah.
And my hope, and I'll let him speak for himself, my hope is that he's learned that it's okay for me not to like things.
Right.
And that, I support him even when I'm not interested in the thing. Like I'm always interested in him.
Right.
He's my husband. I love him. He's my friend. All of those things. But there are some things that I'm not interested in, but I'm interested in him. And there is a fine line in that.
Right.
Showing your spouse, look, baby, I love you. I love you. I'm here. But that thing really don't, don't do it for me. Like documentaries, he has learned to just ride on. Sometimes he'll start talking to me about him. I just have to give him the look. Like, just to remind him. And he'd be like, and and then just kind of go on. And I know that like seems like a small thing, but it's the small things
right.
that become big things.
Right.
Because, me not wanting to sit and watch every documentary in his mind can turn into him feeling like, I don't want to spend time with him.
Right.
I don't want to be supportive. Or we don't have enough in common.
Right.
Like I've heard people, married people say we don't have anything in common.
Right.
We live separate lives.
Right.
I think that's a bit extreme.
Right.
I do believe regardless of your purpose or the things that excite you, I feel like to have a successful connected marriage, there has to be something that connects you outside of the bedroom and outside of your children.
Right.
Because once you have kids, you're connected, whether you're together or not.
Right.
So I feel like there has to be something outside of those areas that you connect on.
Right.
Like your spouse needs to know, I'm here for you, even though I may not be there with you in that moment. Like I may not be cheering for the Raggedy Falcons with you. I may not like what you like. I don't want to, but I'm here for you.
Right. Definitely. It is something about, like I said, to get to the point where there's support, but, that's not my thing.
Right.
That can be challenging at times if you're used to, your wife being all in with some of the stuff that you do, but it's not that she's against it. She's just, I got it. Do your thing, that's just not her thing. And then sometimes it's so when it's those things, you just got to balance out your time together and, hey, let me finish this thing, over here, and then we'll come back together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to have the communication about, what you're seeking, what you're going after. There was a conversation I was listening to this morning, like Four Brothers of Legacy, and a guy was saying, he has this thing, he think he DJs or whatever, and the wife wasn't understanding him being away so much, because he got to practice and do his thing or whatever. And just now, like, things started opening up, and the family could kind of see what he's been working towards. Okay. All the work. But what I realized is sometimes, and we get this mindset, well, I gotta pull away. It's gonna be some strife, some fight until things happen. She just we have to fight about it. But what I realized is it's about the communication. Right. It's about the time. Like, hey, babe, at least for us, and I think for most partners, if you say, hey, I just need 4 hours with this, today, like, this is what the week gonna look like. I'm working on it this time, and stick to it. Of course, things happen sometimes, but there has to be a constant line of communication. And then she expressed, like, I got you. I know things happen, but remember, we haven't really spent any time together this week. So it's like, all right, so I've sacrificed my practice time, whatever time that's not really making money time. Or even, it may be, but you might need to just sacrifice that time to spend with your significant other. You got to find a way to make sure that we're good. Have the communication. Because even if, some things I'm like, babe, this is going on. She's like, I don't like it, but I'm good. I get it. I don't like it. Don't let, or her thing is, don't let this be a habit. Like, don't let this be a habit. I'm riding out. I get it. We communicated about it. I'm good, but don't let this be a habit.
The important thing I would say for us is that I'm clear about how I feel about something.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna pretend like you getting into something new, which cuts into the time we spend together, right, is gonna be okay. Because I know in about 3 weeks, I'm over it.
Right.
Like, I'm being honest. Like, for me, like, yeah, like, I'm over it. And money is great. And, you could always use money for something. Like, I get it. But I'm just different. Like, I guess, I don't know. Like, I think things have to balance out. It's important to have balance. Right. And that's in everything you do. And that goes both ways. Yeah. It's important to have balance.
Yeah, definitely. And, like I said, you gotta figure out, kind of figure out your language. Not really, and maybe I need to come up with another term, not really the love language, but just your communicative language. What are the lines of what's fine and what's not fine? Right. When am I bothered? When am I not bothered? What is the time? Like, what does time look like? Time spent together look like? Sometimes, we could have different ideas of that. For a long time, I just, in the same room, we had time together, but I realized that's not really time together. Communicating, discussing, playing games, doing something together,
Together.
was the key.
Just not in, he was good on the, we in the same place.
I'm here all day. So
sleep on the couch.
So it's those communicative moments that you have to get to in order to survive with different purposes. Like, my wife is into, like, cooking, cool with that. I think she's into decorating. And we talk about, and I had to tell her a while ago about, like, she does the balloons. And I tell her, like, that's the only space. And for me, it's not that I'm not into it or interested. It's just not my skill set. Like, hey, I got you. I'll support you. I'll do what you need. But my hand, because I'm hands-on with a lot of stuff she does. My hands-on in this is just, it's not, honestly, keeping it 100. My son, he takes my spot. Because he blows them balloons up. He know how to time and do, I got you. I don't know, maybe it's still that fear of popping. It's just, whatever. But it's just not my thing, right. But total support. What you need, we got it. But like this is you. This is you. So the larger the project, like I can't really. This is not my thing. Like I move stuff, I take stuff, but just like if anything I have, like anything she's not into it, like Purpose Forever is us. Yeah. Like Brothers Legacy is just more me. So if I take on something big, she's like, that's you. Like so you need to handle it, right? Make sure what you getting into, you can handle, because unless like with the bloom stuff, unless you're gonna tell me exactly what hands you need, I'm not gonna see it because I'm not involved in that all the time. So it's having those communicative moments, because that matters. Because things happen, things grow, But if your spouse is not in the day to day and knowing every intricate part of it, if you're having an issue, now you got to bring her in and catch up on everything so she can see the picture and help you. And see, like my wife says, make it make sense. so sometimes like I'm trying to explain, so like break that down further, and I'm like, okay, but it's because listen, I bit off more than I could chew. I need you to save this boat a little bit.
Right, the saving of the boat.
I need to save this boat a little bit. So, like I said, when it comes to purpose and what you're getting into, the thing I want to impress anybody watching this, no matter when you watch this, don't be afraid to have the conversation with your spouse about your interest,
right?
About the things you want to do, and like I said, for a long time, she kind of just following and kind of going along, and
miserable.
I thought she was cool with it. I thought she was cool, and what I never did,
me to be cool.
What I never did was ask, "Hey, babe, what do you want to get into? What do you want to do?" Because and for guys, I'll throw it out because guy to guy. Remember, everything you take on takes more time. Everything you takes on takes more time.
Right.
So now let's make time like money. Like $100 is a whole day. Right. If I've taken $90, I can't say, "Hey, babe, what you want to do with that 10?" You're not giving her much to work with. Nothing. What can I do? What can I get done with this 10? Right. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so we have to be mindful of what we're getting into. And if it's something that's taking a lot, say, "Hey, babe, give a timeline. Like, listen, for the first 2 months, this is going to take 90. By 2 months, I'll have it figured out. We get it down to 50. It won't take me as much time because I know what I'm doing, and it's only going to take this amount of time. But have these conversations with realistic expectations. And it's tough because, like me, I get excited. Like, yeah, man, I got this. I knock it out in 90 days.
Bring it on back. And a lot of times
I've been trained, figured out, 90 days.
Right.
We good, And
I have to reel him back in. And not just reel him back in as in you can't do that.
Right.
But sometimes it becomes, okay, well, I'm going to stand in this spot
for
the 90 days.
Right.
And then when you show me that you got a handle on it,
right.
then I'll follow you out onto the water. And sometimes, like it's not, I'm less than supportive. Like I'm in your corner. I'm still here. Go.
Right.
Go. We're at day 80. You can make it to 90. But I think, again, it's important. I always say this, like being honest about where you are and how you feel about stuff. And then stop being scared to ask.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't ask, babe, what you think? Because, you just gonna shut me down. You gonna tell me what to do.
Right.
That's not always accurate. Right. Like, sometimes you may be surprised. And sometimes, I may say, look, not my thing.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna tell you, no, you can't do it. Right. But I'm gonna say, I don't really see it. Right. And it's okay, but I think that the important part is always communication and honesty. And then, learning to be okay with, sometimes we change. Like when we got together, I don't even know what I was into when we got together, honestly. Or if I was into anything other than working. Because I was doing a lot of that.
Right.
I don't think I was really into that much. And then we got married, and I really wasn't really into a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
But like as years have changed,
Right.
like as time went on, it was kind of like, okay, um, now there's some things that I'm interested in.
Right.
There's some things that I want to do, and for a while, I made the mistake of waiting for him to somehow know
Right. Right.
that
Right.
I was into some
Right.
things.
Right.
Somehow he was gonna figure it out. He was supposed to know
Right.
that I was into some things. Why he had all these great ideas, he was chasing that way, chasing this way,
Yeah.
going that way. I expected him to somehow figure it out. Look at me and say, "You want to do something, don't you?"
Right.
I see it.
Right.
And when that didn't happen, I was angry.
Mm.
Like I was angry at him on the inside because he didn't read my mind and know that things had changed about me. My interests had changed, and there was things that I wanted for myself.
Right.
Now I was angry at him unfairly so because I didn't give him the opportunity,
Right.
to support me. I didn't give him the opportunity to learn something new about me.
Right.
I just, as I changed and evolved, I expected him to, evolve into a mind reader.
Right.
And that was very unfair.
Right.
It's important, like communication. You have to communicate. When something changed, maybe you can't always put your finger on it.
Yeah.
I know I used to like this and whatever, but I'm not really liking that much these days.
Right.
I don't know really what I like right now, but I just know I don't like that. Because we always know what we don't.
Right.
We always know what we don't like. We know we don't want to eat.
Right.
We know, you always know what you don't want.
Right.
But sometimes figuring out what you do want, or what you are interested in, or what you do want to eat is always a little that much more difficult.
Right.
But I think expressing your dislikes is okay. Now nobody's telling you to be negative Nancy. Everything is that I like that. No, I like that. But I'm saying it's important to say I used to like this, but I don't really like that anymore.
Right.
I know for the last 10 years, every Friday we go see a movie and go get some fish. Right. I don't want to do that no more. Right. I don't want to see a movie this Friday. Maybe I want to go bowling. Right. Maybe I don't want no fish. Maybe I want a burger. And those seem like small things, but those things, become important.
Yes.
Maybe we did something once a month. I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
And I think you have to allow each other some grace.
Right.
And be okay with change sometimes.
Right.
And evolving. And be okay with not knowing.
Yeah.
Like, you ever just like, I don't know, I feel a little off. I don't really know what it is, but I feel off. Be okay with not knowing, not having the answer to everything you're feeling,
right.
everything you're thinking.
Right.
Just being able to say, I don't know. Today, I just don't know.
Right. Right. Definitely. That being okay to just be like, I don't know, is fine. It's fine. It's fine. But the key is just having communication. Like she said, she had an assumption. She was like, he gonna get it. He sees me. He sees his face. I want to do something, and I wasn't, because we wasn't really having those kind of communication. Wasn't talking like that. So you always, and even if you're the one to run in, pass, you need to be the one to stop and say, hey, what do you see? What are your goals? What do you want to get into? Or even if you call it out, like, I see things. For me, I see certain gifts. I see things happening and people not, like for my wife, I definitely will hey, looks like, what if we, I always take it to the next level. I always take it to the next level. But I'm like, okay. Right. But I had to learn.
I say, hey, I think maybe I want to try a new dish. He done came up with a whole menu. Let's throw a party and invite 75 people, and you're gonna make a whole list of new stuff.
Right.
Like he takes, and I get it. Like, it's hey,
Deborah.
It's like we go from one end to the other. So yeah, he does go kind of far, but I do appreciate, at the very least, the interest now.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that sometimes that extra push is what I need. can't believe I just said that out loud and he heard me. But sometimes, no, sometimes the extra push is needed. Sometimes, I haven't, thought about how great it could be
Right.
or how far, some things could go.
Right.
And so, in that aspect, like, I do appreciate it. Like, you know, like I feel like I'm okay. I'm good at some of the things I do. Like
Right.
okay, I do that all right. I do it good enough for this,
Right.
and But he's like, oh, and sometimes I'm like, you're supposed to say that because you're my husband. Like you're supposed to tell me that, but don't be pushing me out here to look like a crazy person. So it is all a fine dance and all a balance. Balancing out how to be supportive of one another,
Right.
how to be there, how to encourage, when to push,
Right.
and then when to back off is important too.
Definitely. The unspoken encouragement.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like it's important to know, like, okay, right now I'm just gonna wait and kind of see what happens or see,
Right.
which direction this goes. Like all those things are important, and sometimes it's okay to watch your partner fail.
Okay.
Like, and I don't mean like if there's, because sometimes, like especially with him, sometimes I can't help him.
Right.
Even when I try, he don't.
Yeah.
I can't help him. So sometimes I have to stand and support him in the crash. And when it crashes, not to support him enough to say, I told you so.
Right.
It's just, okay, well that didn't work. How do we pick it up and move forward?
Right.
Like, I'm still supporting you. Like, I'm still here.
Right.
And trust me, everything in me wants to say, if you had listened.
Right.
Like, and I be thinking it in my head. I be thinking it hard. But by the time I open my mouth, it's like, okay, how can we move forward?
Right.
How can I help you pick it up? Like, it's important. Sometimes, people get to the point where you can't help them.
Right.
As much as you want to, you can't because, it's one of those experiences that they have to have.
Yes.
And then as his wife, like, I've learned to be okay with that.
Right.
Like, not be mad. You just listen to me.
Right.
I don't do nothing right. Like,
Right.
I've learned not to be that person.
Right.
And it doesn't always, go bad. There's a lot of things that, I'm surprised. Like, oh, he worked that out. But there are times when it doesn't work that way. But either way, when it's up here, I'm here.
Right.
When it's down here, I'm still here. I'm still consistent, and it's still about there's no success.
Okay.
Right. Because if you never get it wrong, you won't know when it's right. So that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Let me go through the process. Sometimes it takes going all the way to kind of figure it out. But she always those are suggestions, and and she'll let me go my direction, and if it don't work, I know she was right, but we'll back it up, backtrack, fix it, and try it a different way.
Right.
The key is, like we always say, it's not about being right. It's just about sticking together and making it through.
Right.
And that's the goal. That is the goal overall. Whatever your purpose is, whatever your desires are, that your spouse knows about it. Like this is important to me. In this season, I might not have cared about it 10 years ago, but somehow like I seen something. I feel like, this is what I need to be doing. And granted, sometimes you might be like, I've been telling you that for a long time, but it's time. Now they are in a position where they see the need for it. They feel more comfortable doing it. Whatever the reason, just things happen. Like where we were years ago, it was hard to do anything else because our marriage was just like up and down. And my wife was like, I ain't committing because I don't know where we're gonna be at the next month. She's like, how can I get? And I'm sure like your moment like, how can I get excited about anything? I don't know what's gonna happen the next month.
Right. I don't even know if I'm gonna like
right,
like your face
right,
next month. Like,
yeah. So it's those, it's getting your having at least a stable relationship, and then discussing moving from that point on. What is our vision? What's our goal? What are we trying to do? What's the impact we're trying to seek? And each one of us has something different. And I just want to encourage you, like I said, just to have the conversation. I know, and it may be hard. Like if the person told you this some time ago, and yeah, it's back around, just go and say it. Like, listen, yeah, I didn't care then, but I care now. Like, can we invest in that? Can we move forward? And what's it gonna take for me to get this thing rolling? And have that conversation because
have you on board,
right?
Because it's nothing like. We've all been kids, and I'm sure you've done something.
Right.
It's nothing like looking out in the audience and seeing your parent out there.
Right.
Even if you don't get first place, even if you don't finish, looking out there and see your parent rooting you on is like, oh yeah, like I got this. And it's the same thing. Like when you get married, to see your spouse or hear your spouse say, you know what, you can do this.
Yeah.
You know what, I got you. Even if they never, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a Saturday thing and I work every Saturday and I can't be there. But like, in the morning when I'm leaving or, I leave and I call him and he's about to go live, I say, hey, be great.
Right.
Sometimes I'm on in the morning. Sometimes my morning is busy. And I can't be on, and I don't catch the show. But I'm always, be great, babe, you got this. When I am on, I try to comment. I try to, do something to let him know that I'm there. Like, that goes a long way. Even on days that he doesn't feel like it was great.
Right.
Like, it's like, okay, but listen, you survived the day. Tomorrow you live to fight another day. It's nothing like having that support. Maybe you can't show up. Maybe you don't even like it. Maybe it bores you to death. But that little bit of, hey, babe, you got this. Go out and show them, you walk a strong. Whatever it is, it's important to try to be supportive, even if it's from a distance.
Right.
Like, even if you may not totally agree. Look, I don't really like that, but, if you put your mind to it, I know you can do it. Right. Be supportive. Give that extra little shout out. Sometimes we don't understand everything. Because I was like, you want to do what? Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when he first got ready to start, Brothers of Legacy, I was like, I don't see it.
Right.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. But I was like, you know what? And I've always told him about his jobs or whatever he does. Like, I want you to be happy.
Right.
I want you to wake up and every day, whatever you're going to do, I want you to feel good about that.
Right.
So I've never been the person, don't you leave that job. You stay over there. They pay good. I've never been that person. Because I think nobody wants to wake up miserably every day and the whole time you're on your way to your job, you're hating it.
Yeah.
You're rethinking your life every day.
Right.
Definitely not golfing, but I cheer. Right, absolutely.
Sure, right.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be silent. You like, because you can't really be hollering in golf. And I will say, like, he's stuck with it.
Right.
He does it. He's turned it into something that honestly I did not see in the beginning. I didn't see it. I didn't understand it. But I was like, okay, if you feel like this is what you need to do, long as you remember A, B, and C, I got you. Like, go ahead and do it. And, and he's made it happen. He's turned it into maybe not all of what he wants it to be as of yet, but it's a work in progress. And he's gone really far with it. And like I said, I'm supportive. I don't have to be a part of it because it's still brothers. He's still doing his thing, but I'm supportive and I offer input when I can. But I just think it's important, for him to know, like, I got his back. Like, some parts are different. Some parts is like, oh, that's a Brothers Legacy thing. All right, you go do the brothers thing. I'm gonna stay over here and not do the brothers thing. And we're okay. We're okay if he wants to go to this conference, and I'm like, oh, that's a brother thing. Not really for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay here. You know, and it's okay for me.
Right.
It's okay for him to have that thing that makes, and I'm not gonna say make him happy,
Right.
but creates a happy space in his life.
Right.
It contributes to his life, and in such a way that it makes him a better man,
Yeah.
which in turn makes him a better husband,
Right.
which in turn, you know, makes our relationship better.
Definitely.
So I mean, you know, as opposed to him trying to stick to something very conventional
Right.
for my sake,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times you play it safe. You try to play it, just stick to what you've always been known for. But deep down, you want something else. You desire something else, and for whatever reason, you never talk about it. You never bring it up. But you've been watching the YouTube videos. You've attended little classes. He said, Sean said, I'll be the admin or person that bounce ideas off of. Right. But yeah, definitely, you desire something, but you're never saying anything. Now I get, like, sometimes you watch something, you're like, oh, that's interesting. And you kind of go down a rabbit hole of YouTubes, and you're like, oh, because for me, it's just take a minute. It take a minute, but I'm just saying, you find an interest, and it's been a week, and you're like, man, this thing is, and if it's equipment, you're looking at stuff like, man, okay, of course you're in your mind like, I think we can maybe make this happen, go to your spouse though, like, hey, like, this ain't just an idea. I've been brainstorming on this thing for like a month, I've been thinking about this thing, and it may, like, to have it all, this is the cost. We ain't got that. But to get started, it'll cost this.
Right.
A little bit of time, a little bit of training, and this is the goal. And I don't know, I'm super excited. And and she may be like, I've never seen you in that space. I've never, like, especially because Sam grew up with me. We grew up together. So every little bit of interest she's seen. So from the smallest seed, like, yeah, I remember you used to be in that. I remember you used to like that a whole lot. I didn't think it was gonna come back around, but
All of it.
it's come back. But if you've gotten with somebody as an adult, they may not have seen those things that were planted as a kid. Right. Those things that you got into that for whatever reason you stopped. Sometimes I always say the reality, that you felt like you had to live a life like this, right, instead of going after that dream or that thing because people told you, not many people make it. So you gave it up early. Because like, I don't want to waste my life doing this. But the bug bit you again, and now you want to do it. So have the conversation, though. Have the conversation.
Why do I feel like this is a setup? I feel like
We're
he's
leading
trying
off.
to tell me
We're leading off into something.
that something has bit him again.
We're leading off again. This is the lead off. Appreciate you guys for being here.
Pray for me, guys.
A shift.
Pray. Yeah.
A shift is happening.
Pray for me.
New seasons.
I don't know how many more shifts this your girl got. I don't know.
So I mean, honestly though, just have the conversation though. Like it's unfortunate. I meet a lot of guys. I met folks that just don't express, like, as far as conversation, they don't seem like they've ever expressed to their significant other what they really want to do.
Right.
What they're really interested in. Because some things aren't really, have to be a moneymaker. Could be just a hobby.
Right.
That just it's gonna take a little time to set up, but hey, I would like to do this. I just want to get back into this.
Right.
Because it made me happy, and I did it sometime, and I was like, oh, I really still enjoy doing this. It takes your mind away from things, and especially if it's something that's not unhealthy. Because as people, we need healthy outlets just to kind of get away for a minute. So if it's a healthy outlet and it's not gonna cost half the money, like, if it's not gonna take a whole lot of time, if it's gonna give your spouse some peace of mind, give them some grace to at least try it, to get back into it, and just see where it leads. Yes.
Get back into anything.
Get back into it. All right. So, listen, I hope you got something out of this. Hope you got something out of this. We appreciate you guys for being with us. Listen, I need you to join our text community. Text P4F to 84576. And this week's challenge,
You got one.
I got one. This week just kind of just busted out. This week's challenge is to ask your spouse what are they interested that they have not shared with you.
This is the setup. This is how I
What?
always get in trouble, because when I ask, he already has the answer
I gotta
burning
think about it. I
down
gotta think
in
about
his
it.
shondo
I'm
that he's
thinking
going
about
to
it.
share. And this is how I get. This is the setup.
Ask,
This is the setup.
what is your spouse interested in that they may not have shared? And even if it's a hobby. Even if it's a hobby. Just like something that they've been thinking about, like, you know what? I haven't done this in a while. I want to do some knitting. Knitting
Help me, Drew.
or some sewing or something of that nature. Do that, all right? And if you get started, let us know if you're connected with us. Go to our Facebook page, drop a picture, let us know what's going on. For real, like I said, seriously, like knitting, crocheting, like I ain't done this in a long time. And my hubby bought me, or my wife bought me, like a knitting or crochet set to knock it out. Listen.
Yeah, let's not do that, guys.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
said,
I'll be
"I'm
watching.
Trace.
So, we appreciate you guys for being here. For being a part of Purpose for Forever. Listen, stay connected. Stay connected. If you're a couple, married, just stay connected. We have great things going on. We love you guys. And we, like I said, join our text community. We have many challenges. And definitely stay connected, because if you're in the Georgia area, we're going to start having like events and things of that nature. So just stay connected.
Invite everybody. Huh?
Everybody. Come.
What I'm saying?
Come
See
on.
how we
Come
just
on.
go too far, too fast.
Come on. No, this is a slow drive right here. It's been us for a minute. We've been like, what, 3 years, 4 years? We'll be up to 4 years, Dr. Rob?
I think the board of trustees for Purpose for Forever may have issues with this. But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
We appreciate your time. We appreciate you jumping in.
Definitely.
As you know, we say all the time, you guys are on this journey with us while we're living, loving. You guys have been a part, so we thank you for all of the input, all of the support. It's been a journey.
Yes, as always.
With more to come.
Love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And love on purpose.